everybody. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you have had an amazing day up to now, and I hope that your weather is good. So on my side, I've done my laundry. The day started out a little bit overcast, but now the sun is shining and my laundry has managed to dry. And then I also had another Thai lesson this morning, reading and writing and learning about rules and stuff. And I told my teacher I've got no idea how I am going to manage to remember all of these rules that's in the Thai language. But I suppose everything will come together at some stage or another. So yes. And then I also had to visit the pharmacy, because 6 months ago I slipped and I fell and my toes hit my gate that was closed at that stage, and I cannot even begin to tell you guys the pain that I had back then, but it was super painful. And so now I discovered that the nail broke, and then obviously it grew out and everything, and then about I think 3 weeks ago I saw this broken nail coming out of the bed and such, and yes, it did take a very long while. So, and I noticed the red around the toenail, but I thought this was just because, it got hurt, and I'll just wait until it's grown out a little bit more and I'll start to cut it and such. But then it just became more inflamed and stuff. And my one friend did say to me, "Oh, you've got an infection." And I'm like, "No, I don't do infections." Anyway, so eventually I managed to cut that piece of nail, but the toe didn't get better. And then this morning I saw, oh my goodness, so now it's getting worse. So then I ended up going to the pharmacy, and the girl was immediately, "No, you've got to take antibiotics. It is a bacterial infection, and apparently it happens when there's trauma to the toe or whatever, and then it is possible that some bacteria can come in." So yes, that was my day. But besides that, I trust that it is it's only going to get better. I'm going to go for a run after this, and I'm getting more fit every time. I'm now on 4.8 kilometers, and I'm able to do about, I'd say, for maybe like 3 kilometers without stopping. Whoa. So I'm very grateful for that. And then no, I haven't really lost any more weight, but I can feel that my clothes are maybe just teeny little bit more loose. But anyway, it doesn't matter as long as I know that I am eating a little bit more healthy, I'm getting in exercise and such, then that's it. The rest, I suppose, will happen in the next 3 or 6 months or whatever. So yes, but welcome guys. Thank you so much for joining. And so today, food for thought. So as I was pondering and on what I'm going to talk about today, my thoughts went back to the last couple of days and conversations I've had with people and such. And I was thinking more about it. And yesterday I did tell you guys about one of the things, the first one, allowing myself to get sidetracked by what seemed to be a good idea, but then it turned out it was just a frustration. So on this point, as I said, I was pondering and I was thinking about it, and I was looking back on my life and situations. God reminded me of situations and such, and I thought, no, it feels as if I need to talk about this. So yes, point number 1. As I told you guys yesterday, yes, so someone suggested, you know, in my situation that I go see a certain person to explain to me about Ashley's situation, about the world pardon and such. And I thought that it was a good idea, but I should have known better. Why? Because, and it's not that it was a bad, the whole thing was a bad idea, you know, searching for more information or trying to understand better and such things. So it's not that it is a bad idea, but maybe 6 months ago or a year ago, it would have been a better idea in a similar situation or whatever. But why do I say that I should have known better? Because the reason is that we have to come at some stage when we face our trials and tribulations and, you know, the certain situation that we are in, that we find ourselves in currently, where we need to realize that, you know, enough is enough. I've now done my part. I've done what I believe that I could have done, and I need to leave the rest up to God. But now, see, I believe God has shown me a couple of months ago already, and I spoke to Ashley about this as well, because we are people who, the kind of people, you know, who need to know. We need to know what's happening. We need to know the next step and the next step and such. And also in some situations, this is, obviously it's not wrong. But in this particular situation, I said to her, you know, we need to come to a stage where we say, okay, well, Lord, now everything is in your hands. We've done everything that we can, because we are getting now frustrated because we're not getting answers and things like that. So I don't believe that when it causes us frustration and such things, that this is of God. So we need to come to a point where we say, fine, now we need to rest. You know, we need to rest in God, that we know that He is sorting the situation out. To keep a right attitude while we are waiting for the final breakthrough. And then doing what our hand finds to do. Also what we know that we need to seek God in times like this, to listen to His voice, when we're getting patient in waiting and such things, that we give thanks to Him in all situations and all of this. So this is why I just realized at some stage, because I was extremely frustrated and to the point where I did sit down and I cried and I questioned God. And I repented and asked forgiveness. And God in His mercy, He will always forgive us when we are really sincere at heart, repentant, and you know, that we make the choice to go God's way. So that was my my big frustration, which I just know was not of God. And then the second one is caring people who cares a lot. So people who's just there, who just wants to help. So I'm that kind of person as well. Ashley is that kind of person, and then some of my new friends are those kinds of people, and we tend to overdo stuff many a time. So that is why I want to show you this, why I've decided I have to actually write down. And I got myself this nice pink, bright pink poster. And I'm not quite sure if you are able to read everything, but it says stuff to remember. And then it's like, just the normal stuff, like visa stuff and Ashley stuff, few things that at some stage I used to just forget like everything, whatever. Always I was scared that I forget what day it is and such things. But anyway, I know it sounds crazy, but anyway. So then it says that I'm not supposed to figure out everyone else's problems. Isn't that just amazing? Because this is what caring people do. They always, when they come across people and this person tells them their problems, or I don't like to say problems, I choose challenges. So then we would immediately try to figure out their problems. Isn't it just so amazing? So, and number 2 says, I cannot help everyone. And this is another thing that we normally would do. It seems, it's just as if we just attract people like that we just attract everybody that needs help. And I suppose in any case, everybody needs help. There's not really anybody who can say, well, there's absolutely 0 things that I need help with. So whatever. And then it says, do not make any impulsive decisions, because I would do that, without really thinking it over and such things. I would just impulsively do something, if it's for someone and it's usually for somebody to assist them. And then number 4, take care of my soul. So that one I need to remember. And then I've got my priorities. What are my priorities? So when I start to try and help everybody again, which there's nothing wrong with that, but we need to have discernment. Go to God and ask Him, does He really want me to help in this case? And how far does He want me to help and such? So here I've got my priorities. My first and foremost priority is my relationship with Jesus Christ. I need to spend time with Him, seeking Him. And then it's my family and taking care of Ashley, because this is the main reason I am here, to take care of Ashley. And then comes, well, it actually, it all intertwines and whatever, because taking the good news out, sharing God's love, and then my studies and my learning time is also very important. So those are that's my stuff to remember poster, which I have made a couple of months ago to remind myself, because if not, I tend to just overdo everything and I don't look after myself and such things. So God also reminded me that, as I said, there's nothing wrong, because we need to help people, we need to help each other, but we need to discern from God how He wants us to help, for how long, or maybe He doesn't want us to help this person for whatever reason. But when we see God, we will definitely know. He will show us if our hearts are sincere. And it can also be, God reminded me that sometimes, He perhaps does not want us to help a person, because that person have been helped before. And we are only helping him, we are interfering with God's work. So if it's a child, and again, we need each situation, you need to look at your own situation, you need to go to God and inquire from Him. And then, yes, He places people in our lives that we know that we can go to those people to talk about our situation. And, God also says if we need wisdom, we need to ask Him. But we are not made islands, so He wants us all to interact. And that's why He puts people into our lives, that 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people we can go to, can say, this is the situation. what do you think? We pray together about it. Everybody gives their opinions or what they've heard from God. And then finally you sit down and you say, okay, Lord, so this is it. And what am I going to do? And he will show you in the end. And also maybe why you should not help that person or that child of yours. Because we, especially we as mothers, you know, we want to, even though maybe our kids turn like 25, 30, 35, 40 and whatever, we still think that we need to help them. But in the end, they are struggling maybe, and they are not learning some things. Because all of us, and why do we do this? A lot of times we do this because maybe we've grown, well, we've all grown up differently, and we can, I think there's not anyone who can say that, you know what, I didn't think once about changing something that my parents did, and that I said, well, you know, when I grow up and when I have my own kids, I will not do this thing. But then you realize the reason your parents did it or did not do it. So sometimes, yes, I believe definitely we interfere, and it takes our children longer, or the person that we are assisting, if it's a stranger maybe, or a relative or a friend or whatever, it is just taking him longer to get him where God wants him to be. And we need to be very careful to not interfere with God's work, yes. And also, you know, the one thing that I said is, you know, I've made so many faults in my life that I've told my children about many of them when they were even in school still. And I said to them, you know, I'm telling you these things because I don't want you to make the same mistakes. Now, they have not done a lot of wrong things. I have to be honest. I mean, seriously, I've got amazing kids. I really have amazing kids. And then, yes, sometimes it takes one bad choice and something big will happen. But, you know, God in his mercy is always there, because he says he will never leave us nor forsake us. And then sometimes, yes, you know, we cannot control our children. We can tell them, and then we need to also be careful, because if you keep on telling our children or our loved ones or our friends or whatever, you know, but I've told you before, don't do this, or you got to do it like this, you got to do it. Do we have a controlling spirit perhaps? We need to back down, you know, and let them be whoever they are. We've done a great job, we've made our mistakes, but nobody is perfect, and we do what we can at that particular stage that we believe is the best. And we will always look back, always, and we will think and say, oh, I should have done this, or I should have done it this way, or whatever. It's bound to happen. It's definitely going to happen. I can promise you guys that. So we're not going to sit and ponder on that. It is what it is. But yeah, we need to back off and just let the people be who they, you know, make their own mistakes and learn to figure stuff out for themselves, because we're not helping anybody if we are spoon feeding them, or we are helping them, getting them out of situations time and again. And please just listen to me clearly. You know, I'm not there. Each situation, you know, by itself, obviously, but we look at the history, and if this person is constantly being helped and he's not getting anywhere, we need to do tough love and say, you know what, up to here and not any further, because they need to learn, and we need to let God work with them, even if it's very hard for us. And just pray, obviously, just pray, you know. And then the other thing that came up was relating to others' situations. So I've had it more than once that people would come to me, or they would write messages or whatever, send me messages and say, you know what, I can relate to you because not that my child is in prison, but they are overseas and I haven't seen them for 6 years or 5 years or 3 years or whatever, you know. And most of the times, you know, I would just smile and just let it go or whatever and continue. But as I said, now I was pondering on the last few days, conversations and whatever, and this was one of the points that came up, and I thought about it, and I just realized once again, you know, it's not you cannot actually relate to my situation, no. Because why? Because you have the luxury of a cell phone, of various devices that you can contact your children. So even though you have not seen them maybe for 10 years even, you have this luxury. So no, you cannot relate to my situation, with all due respect. And now I'm talking about myself also, you know, we need to be more sensitive actually to what we say to people. And sometimes we just speak too quickly, especially myself, you know, and then I'm afterwards like, oh my word, I should not have said that, or I didn't mean it in that way, but this is the way that it came across. And so we need to really watch what we are saying. We need to be sensitive to situations. For me, it doesn't matter, because there's not a lot of things that really matters, you know. You can say whatever. Sometimes, yes, when, I don't know, just sometimes then when I'm caught off guard with my focus not totally on Jesus, then it gets to me. But I need to work on that as well. And that is why we need to keep our focus always on Jesus Christ. And it's the only way. Without him we can do nothing. So yes, we need to be very careful and very sensitive about what we think, how we can relate to others, because we cannot. Each situation is different. So yes, even when people tell me their loved ones are in prison, yes, now this is, but it's in a different, you know, it's back in South Africa, and such. But then yes, we can start to talk. We can actually really relate, because now this is actually similar. It is not just having a child overseas when you haven't seen that child, but you've had contact like this. But then also, the other day, so I was reading, my eye caught an article on the South African prisons, and I saw the person saying, yes, so each cell, we are like 20 people in a cell, and we only have one toilet, one shower, and one bath. And I'm like, oh my word, you have got luxury, girls. You've got luxury. So, but in the end, you know, God gives grace to each situation. And for this person, it was hell living in those conditions, where if Ashley would have been moved to that, she would have been in luxury. So they've got a hole in the ground between sometimes 79 people in one cell, and then sometimes fight over a little bit of water that comes out of a tap into a bucket, and they've got 3 minutes to brush their teeth, wash their hair, wash their bodies, and 3 minutes. I want to challenge you guys to try and do that. So it's supposed to take us 2 minutes to brush our teeth alone. So anyway, yes, and this is in another communal area, not even in their room. They've only got this ground hole toilet in their cell. So that's the only thing between so many people. And they sleep on the hard floor with one thin blanket to cover that space. So yes, we can start to relate on the prison thing, no matter where you are in the world, but still not completely. And then problem solvers. Oh, so we caring people, we are problem solvers. Okay. I just love a challenge, and I love to solve everybody else's problems. And also that's not wrong, because we need each other. And sometimes when we're in a situation, we are so focused on our challenge that we don't see another way out, you know. And so it is very welcoming when somebody else comes and says, oh, but you know what, did you try it this way? And it's like, oh my goodness, no, I didn't. And voila, there you go, problem solved. So, but I need to sometimes, you know, literally just close my mouth with my hands to stop myself from just giving advice to everybody I meet, and that is very difficult. But I think that I'm better by the grace of God. But yes, I'm very quick because my brain works quite quickly in challenging situations, and I can see many different ways quickly, and I can organize very quickly. And stuff like that. But we need to understand also, I think that, and I'm talking to myself too, guys. I'm not only talking to others. I always first talk to myself. But yeah, we need to realize that there's a time and a place for everything. And we need to actually ask people, you know. So, and I keep on failing that, is that when we sit down and we hear a challenge, it's like, oh, how am I going to solve this? You know, you get like excited. Just to calm down and to say, you know, do you want me to say anything? Because sometimes the person just wants an ear so that you listen, because they just need to, and that happens to me a lot. So I would call my friend and tell her about my problem, and I just cannot get the solution or whatever. And as I'm talking, my brain starts to work, and it's like at the end, oh, so don't worry, Mari, I've got it. Then I figure it out. So that happens many times to me. It's just when I've got the opportunity to talk, to just voice myself, then I find the answer, and then she just starts to laugh. So we also, yeah, we need to be careful that we don't always give advice. It's very hard. It is extremely hard. So please forgive us, guys, for those of you who are not like that, but who are friends with people like us, you know. Let us have grace with each other and such. And yes, sometimes, and what I've found actually also, and I think I read about it sometime at some stage in my life as well, is that we are able to solve other people's problems, but we cannot solve our own. So, and I think that it is maybe supposed to be like that in some cases. Because why? Because if we were able to solve all our own problems, then we wouldn't really need anybody. Isn't that amazing? So, but again, we need to be sensitive. And hallo vriendin Dina, thank you so much. Ek is ook lief vir julle, and thank you so much for joining. And yes, nou jy my vir my storie af, vriendin. Sorry, I was distracted. See? Because I'm so excited when one of my friends are able to join. I know Dina, she's so super busy. She's so super busy. She hardly gets even time to just drink a cup of coffee, I think, you know, whatever. Oh, I love you to bits. We are all old school friends. So anyway, let me just get back on track. So yes, we need to be sensitive, guys. Those of us who are these caring people who just loves to solve everybody else's problem and such. Problems oplost. Dankie, vriendin. Okay, so there's a time and place for everything. Okay, so this is me for today. I think I've said what I wanted to say, and then I would also like to take this opportunity today to give you guys a chance to be part of God's kingdom work. And how and what am I talking about? Okay, so 2 years ago, I got involved with the Burmese church on Koh Samui. And they planted this church roughly about, I think it was July 2023. And I met the pastor in late July, early August. So yeah, it's exactly 2 years now. And so I've been kind of like involved in the church, and I've seen their struggles. I feel that I've been involved in helping a Burmese lady that was released from prison, from Ashley's prison, also just before I randomly met up with this church. And she hadn't spoken to her family for 9 years, and God gave me the grace to find these people in Burma so that she could have a video call with her mother. And when I got the contact and everything, he was just literally living down the road from her mom. It was so amazing. And that is where my journey started with the Burmese and my heart. It was actually before that, when I heard about the war, the coup and things are really very hectic, and people are fleeing. There are so many people trying to leave the country, and it's just getting worse and worse with this coup d'etat, I think they call it, is the right pronunciation. And yeah, so the junta, they are killing their own people, they're bombing hospitals, they are bombing schools, and it is just terrible, guys. There are so many people who are fleeing to Thailand, and it is not very easy to find jobs and such, and to be able to stay here legally. So, but they are hard workers. They are extremely hard workers, and they don't ask anybody for anything. And as soon as they get here, they get kind of like settled and whatever, and they manage to find jobs. But a lot of them struggle to find jobs, and even though they find jobs, they don't get paid a very good salary and such. But so when someone is in need, I've watched this. It is not even 1 week, then they have provided the money for the situation or whatever, and they don't, they don't even think twice. They will give, even if they've got 10 baht. I've watched that pastor. Then he shows me, I've got 10 baht, and then someone comes and they need something to eat or whatever. Oh yes, 10 baht. Without an emotion or nothing. The emotion is a smile on the face. Oh, I've got money for you. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know where I'm going to get food, but it doesn't matter because I trust God, and that's the way that they live. And it is just amazing how God keeps on providing. But you know what, guys, missions is not just for me or for him, or it's God's mission, and we were all called to be part of the Great Commission. And through this opportunity that has risen, I know there are many people of you out there who are just looking for an opportunity to be part of God's great commission. And some of us are in the field, others are still working and still doing, but you know, this is a great opportunity for you guys to pray about and to see, to get involved in this mission. They are visiting the sick. They are, when people pass away, they make arrangements. It's not cheap. So now they need to do the funeral. They need to send the body back to Burma. It costs, it's a lot of logistics involved, and it costs a lot of money. And but they're just continuing. They're trusting God. God is coming through and such. But I just felt this time that I need to put this opportunity out to you guys to get involved in this amazing work that God is doing. And they are teaching the children. They've got different a few different places where they work from the someone, you know, would open their homes, and the little kids would come. They would teach them English, or those who cannot go to school, because there are some kids, even 14-year-olds or whatever, you know, where I used to live, there was a 14-year-old boy who didn't go to school because they don't have the money to go to school. And for me, that is, it's tragic, because everybody deserves an education. And so these are just some of the things. And you know, God called all of us to go to the sick, to visit the prisoners, to go to the orphans, and you know, everything. But we don't always know how we're going to do that, and this is an opportunity. So currently also they've got one patient. So with the hospital visits and such, there was a lady, Mimi. She came here recently, fleeing her country and hoping to get a job. She's got I think he's 8 years old, an 8-year-old boy, but he's still in Burma. That happens a lot, where the parent who would have the greatest opportunity to perhaps find a job would come, and then sometimes the rest would follow, but only once this person has got settled and things like that. But then she ended up in hospital being sick, and they found she's got stage 3 breast cancer. She's got no home, she's got no money, she's got nothing. So, and she had to leave the hospital. The hospital bills are, you know, just skyrocketing and such. And there's one little room that the church has got, and so the pastor put her into this room and is looking after her, but the bills need to get paid. And he says he doesn't know, but he's trusting God. Some of the money did come in, collected around I think they don't even have 20 members in their little church. And so some of the money did come in. Tomorrow she needs to get her CD count test, and up until now there has been no money coming in, unfortunately. And yeah, so I would like to invite you guys to partner, and if you believe this is the way to go, to partner with God in His Great Commission, and yeah, so that all of us can, you know, can do something about this situation, because we were all called into this Great Commission. And through this ministry, obviously, the good news gets spread. That is our number one job, is to give people hope. And but we cannot speak, because we need to be the hands and the feet as well. You all know that as well. So yes, that is the opportunity which I want to give you. And if any of you have got questions, you are welcome to send me a message through Messenger or through WhatsApp. If you've got my WhatsApp on the Facebook page, and I believe on this as well, there is an email address. You can send me an email address. I will put his bank details on this video as well. And yeah, but obviously that would be for those of you who are living in Thailand. But please do contact me if you're not living in Thailand and you do feel you have prayerfully considered this and you feel led to be part of this. It would be amazing. And in the end, yeah, everything belongs to God in any case. And so we need to ask him how he wants us to use this. Yes. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of the day. And God bless you. And yes, Father, in Jesus' mighty name, we come to you, Lord, and we just want to glorify you and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for everybody out there. Please bless them and be with them, Lord. You know each and every person. Help us in our weaknesses, Lord. And we want to acknowledge, Lord Jesus, that we need you and we can do nothing apart from you, Lord. And yes, please search our hearts, Lord, and see if there's anything that's not of you, Lord, and let us know, please, so that we can repent and turn back to you, Lord. And yeah, please forgive us our trespasses, Lord, and help us, Lord, to be able to forgive others as well, Lord, and help us to be considerate of others, and also help us, Lord, that we would be sensitive to others as well. And please give us wisdom and discernment in each situation that comes over our paths, Lord. And yeah, just strengthen us for the rest of this day. Thank you for new mercies every day, Lord. And yeah, thank you for everything, Lord. Thank you so much for this day and for every blessing that you give us, Lord. Would you please bless our hands and make it fruitful, and let it multiply whatever each person is doing, Lord. Let it be to your glory, Lord. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of the day. And I'll see you tomorrow, God willing, if I live. Have an amazing day. Be blessed. Thank you, guys.